Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Horde of the Abyss. Here we are in the Forged in Fire campaign, about to start the next mission, Tarred and Feathered. We must defeat this Practal and obtain the mysterious Crimson Coautl. And I think that we'll be going with the additional primary statistics, because you can't get stronger than strong. Let's go. So many spots in Jadam where no naturalist has yet set foot, yet my hunger for discovery keeps taking me to places barely reachable on horseback, let alone in a hulking armadillo-driven cart. A foot trek through the Garrote Gorge was behind me. I was dreaming of the usual, new boots, or better still, a pair of wings of my own, having not the slightest idea of what I was about to run into. The last time I had been in Burton, even boots hadn't yet been invented there. But now a huge, noisy, smelly city was bustling where greenskin huts used to stand, and there were honest-to-goodness airships flying above it. Moreover, an expedition to the archipelago no wayfarer had yet described was about to leave there. Who inhabits these islands? I wasn't keen on missing my chance to find out. I don't really know what hopes I had when we set out on this expedition. Flying in the sky just felt so thrilling to me. Everything about it seemed magical, and the land below appeared amazing and mysterious, even if it was a lifeless, bare, eggshell-like wasteland. And here on these islands, I guess I was expecting to see something extraordinary. But once the crumpled blue sheet of sea beneath us ended, and we began soaring over the jungle, I just couldn't see anything anymore. All I could make out was some muddy greenness, almost entirely hidden beneath clumps of damp fog. Silence, clouds above, and a billowing haze below. For days, Winona had been telling me excitedly of the natural wonders she had once seen on the Dagger Wound Islands across the sea, but even now she appeared sad and quiet. Given such low visibility, we couldn't even chart maps. Our airship's propellers thrashed through the humid, sticky air, surely and with a good rhythm. The one we rode on was a new mass-produced model, with thick fabric billonets and reliable engines powered by liquid fuel distilled from ground oil. Frederick could barely contain his admiration as he showed me the first batch's lead ship, his eyes glistening. It had been a long time since I'd seen him like this, probably not since we lived back in Eofol. He was shaking his fist frantically and rambling on about how this new model didn't require any priceless magical artifacts and would thus revolutionize life on our planet, how Enroth had shrunk to the size of an orange overnight, and how getting to another continent would seem as easy as taking a pony cart to the next village for the fair. Except we had to do it with reliability, resource, and range tests first. I had, that is, with this caravan, and of course, anything could happen to us on the road, but I really didn't mind. The more land fell under Burton's control and the farther away new factory towns grew, the less often I was able to personally go out on recon missions, and the more time I had to spend studying scout reports, making plans, and talking to other decision-makers, practicing war games with my subordinates too. Yes, scouts were considered part of the armed forces of the new land Commonwealth. That's how the union of our cities was named in official documents. Terra Nova, words from some forgotten language of the scribes. I don't know how the new knowledge of it spread, but it was becoming more and more common lately to hear words or whole phrases in this solemn-sounding tongue among the artificers. Regia solis erat symbolis ata conlomus, I muttered to myself, trying to make out anything down below. Something about the manner of our flight had changed ever so slightly in the last hour, as if the ship was having a hard time maintaining altitude, and the whirring of the engine had become kind of strained. The sailor on watch came up to me, his dirty face looking worried. "Chief, the billonet's fabric is sucking up water like a pump. It's too wet in here. We're losing altitude, and the fuel's barely burning. The smoke's chock full of soot." "Roger that, Boris. You go see what's going on with the thrust bearings. Something creaking in the shafting, and I..." The next minute, an arrow hit the deck between us. I darted to the side. As we talked, our ship had lost so much altitude that our keel was almost scraping against the treetops. Only now could I make out a thing in this green sea, a mess of tall, crooked, twisted trunks like a hedge. Over the muffled coughing of the engine, the sounds of the land rumbled, rustling, gurgling, chattering, squeaking, and I swear I could hear crazed cries coming from hundreds of mouths, as well as the roaring of some very big creatures. Arrows were flying out of the forest. Most were launched with not nearly enough force to reach our ship, but a few did hit the sides and deck. Heavy, long, sharp arrows with motley plumage. "Damp the blouse now! We've got to gain altitude!" I shouted and rushed down to the faucets on the lower deck. We had taken on water as ballast, and now it had to be let out. As I went down the gangway, facing forward, as Boris, a seaman with decades of experience had taught me, huge shadows flickered around our ship. I heard growls, hisses, the shouts of my frightened crew, and finally the creaking as our balloon tore. Just moments earlier we were still flying, granted we were losing altitude and barely moving the propellers, but still waddling through the air, and now we were going down. No idea where to. No idea how far the ground and what is down there. All I wanted was to survive this. Well, it looks like we have survived. Excellent, we have Henrietta here. We actually have dreadnoughts, which is nice. Because we got to build one last mission, we didn't get to use one last mission. But here is Henrietta, our level 18 mercenary, with 75 halfling grenadiers, 14 Orgoi Korkoi, and of course 3 dreadnoughts. And we have a new character here, Winona. She has basic logistics, basic scouting, basic wisdom, advanced water magic, and basic earth magic. Despite only being a level 3 mercenary, she's quite learned. So, give her credit. She's also got 10 attack skill. Quite a lot for a level 3 character. Does she have any interesting spells, I wonder? She does start with slow, which of course is interesting, and advanced forgetfulness. Actually a fairly decent spellbook all in all. Of course we don't have on Henrietta our GC Resurrection spell. We'll have to learn it in this mission, presumably. But nonetheless, we have our characters. So let's survey the crash site. So we have packs of wyverns surrounding us. We've got some serpent flies, vampires guarding an axe. We've got a Pandora's box, wood, ore, and our 2 heroes. Well, who's got more movement to start with? It is Henrietta, so let's have her open the box. Shall we open the box? She gains +2 to all stats, and she finds some treasure, including the Sword of Judgment. That's not insubstantial. And a bunch of things. Well, I mean, that's obviously going to make this mission much easier. Was this meant to be behind something? Or was it just directly keyed to this as the difficulty of the mission? Because this is a lot of stuff. Like, not complaining, but still. Well then, let us explore Winona for a bit. We got some Wayfarer's boots. These are going to be quite useful because as much as the boots of speed are quite good, it's a bit of a shoe-changing strategy in that between turns you put on the boots of speed to gain the speed, and then when it's time to slop in the swamp, you grab on the gun boots here. Yes. And nonetheless, with a Sword of Judgment, that's a very powerful artifact. We could easily clear these wyverns, like without any losses whatsoever. We have lost our last town, which is a little bit concerning. The map is, I want to say, large. We better clear some terrain, though. I immediately recognised the noises produced by the creatures hiding in the thicket. I'd heard them as we fell, and I'd never forget them. I'd rather kill those dragons here on the ground than face them again in the air. Well, let us defeat them. We have tactics after all. That should be sufficient. Well, maybe not. Let's try that again. Yeah, the Wyvern Monarchs can reach us in a single turn, so we want them to be hitting something a little bit more durable. That seems reasonable. That's okay. You can beat up on these. It's been a while since we've had Halfling Grenadiers. Did we lose one? We did. Okay. I guess I technically have to do this slightly differently. I'm so used to Frederick. Okay. So we move this here. We move this here. Down here. Start the combat. Okay, the Orgoi Korkoi survived. Good job. And there we go, the Dreadnoughts for the finish. Speed is going to be a problem. We want these Wayfarer's boots. So we're going to need to have Winona doing a little bit of help with the forest. We're going to give her our army and our artifacts so she can engage the Wyverns. We want to pull back from these. We want to get fixed before we kill. So it's fixed now. And we kill. The Dreadnoughts can tank it, so all good. Now we can grab these important boots. Walking a narrow path, you bump into a ragged wanderer. He offers you to exchange your cape for his old boots. You agree without much of enthusiasm. As he disappears over the horizon, you realise the advantage of the transaction. Yeah, removes the rough penalty of difficult terrain. This will be useful for us next turn. Fortunately, just out of movement to hand the things back, but we'll manage. What a surprising place this was. No, not presently surprising, quite the opposite. Many of us, the survivors of the crash, might not have made it even to the next morning. All this damp, reeking forest felt not merely hostile, but plain full of hate towards us, as if in retaliation for our airship having made a huge clearing in the crash, knocking over dozens of giant trees. I couldn't even begin to imagine how old they were. Luckily, the wood of these giants was moist and soft. They broke upon colliding with our ship's strong hull and slowed down our fall, helping us involuntarily to make a relatively soft crash landing. Alas, there were fatalities. 6 crew members are gone missing, probably fell overboard during the fall. Wounds and contusions claimed the lives of another 4. In the first hours after the wreck, we lost 2 more sailors. Some swift beast dragged one off into the bushes and we never saw him again, and the other got bitten by a snake he failed to notice in the grass and died almost instantly. Attention here! Back away from the bushes and trees immediately! Anyone who doesn't have a job assigned, go to the ship and stay there! Winona's voice rang out. I had banged my head pretty hard against the bulkhead during the fall, so I was lagging behind on my commands, not to mention that I had not the slightest idea what to expect from this place. Hadn't it been for my unexpected companion and her vast knowledge, our expedition might have ended this very night, for the simple reason of all of its participants' death. But no, while I was coming to, the Dark Elf was all action, showing the men which trees could be cut down and which ones should never be approached, where and from what to make fires, how to tie and trim clothes to prevent dangerous small critters from reaching the body, how to coerce thirst-quenching liquid out of thick snake-like vines and whatnot. My vision was blurry, and it looked as though there were 3 or 4 Winonas running around the camp at once, barking orders, encouraging, slapping the slow learners, swinging axes, and blowing up stinky, smoky bonfires to keep insects away. At length the elf, puffing noisily, plopped down beside me on a log. In her hand there was an outlandishly disgusting-looking centipede. Winona was biting through its shell rings and sucking something out with gusto. Hadn't I held back while we were still falling, I would surely do it now, though it would seem that anyone who had enjoyed eating freshly taken out armadillo liver, still hot, with its earthly and iron-like aftertaste, should surely not be sheeply about any kind of exotic outdoorsy food. How are you feeling, Commander? Let me take a good look at you. Oh, your eyes are all still red, not a good sign after head injury. I'll live, thanks. It'll pass. I'm not dizzy anymore, and not even nauseous. Well, thank the gods for that. Listen, we can't stay here. We've crashed in the worst place imaginable. There's a huge anthill not by, and next to it, some witch cauldrons. Those are pits brimming with snakes, and just about everything I've seen here, at least what I've recognised, is as poisonous as my ex-mother-in-law's tongue. Back when we were still up, I saw a cleaner, drier area to the east of here. So that's all ahead, thank you. If not for your knowledge and skill, don't mention it. I knew this would happen, and that's another reason why I asked you to take me on. By the way, I saw something else. Might be important. Remember that huge bloated bubble of a ship that flew behind us? Yeah, that's an experimental cargo model. It's got 2 nacelles, one for the engine and one for the hold. Now listen, I saw this hold section fall off from its balloon and come apart in the air, and from it some metal hunks fell out. That ship was already flying pretty low when it happened. If those things are good for anything, we could go look for them. They may have survived the crash.
I think we should check north of here. Really? Those are the dreadnoughts. We requisitioned them for an expedition so they'd help us haul heavy loads when and if we decided to make a permanent camp. Well, camp or no camp, we could really use those machines right now. What if we get another visit from those birds, lizards, whatever those flying things that got us into this pickle are? Let's say they like some heat ray treatment.
Give them the heat ray. Alright, Winona, how about you return your various things? And now we're going to swap out for the boots of not taking forever to move 2 squares in the swamp. So to the east apparently is some kind of settlement that we might be able to secure. So let's head in that direction. Oh, apparently east is not as east as it used to be. It's more like south. But hey, we'll take it. Well, let's swap back to the boots of speed. And we'll have Winona collect some of the materials that have fallen in the crash site. Okay, that seems good so far. There's some more wood over here. These woods feel way too weird. I've long stopped fearing the dark and unfamiliar sounds, but here, when I'm standing night watch by the fire, something makes me feel very uneasy. It's as if someone's trying to read my thoughts and put someone else's in my head. Tonight I took over Winona's watch right before dawn, just when you feel the most sleepy. In a bid to perk up, I took out an instrument an old mechanic had made me. Back as a kid, I had tried to learn to play the whistle. I read flute, any child in EF4 could get happy or dreamy tunes out of. Alas, I had no ear for music at all. I couldn't even play the easiest song of them all, one about the silly toad that the tiniest kids aced without any trouble. Other children would mock me, and I'd get angry and lash out at them, and so it went. I heard the sound of this instrument one night in Burton. It was odd and unlike anything I'd ever heard before. It spread over the wasteland like circles on water, and my heart fluttered to the sound. To my delight, playing it didn't require knowing notes by ear. Ruger, a master at everything he did, was happy to show me how to play it, and he made a smaller one for me. He called it a jaw harp. I held the harp to my teeth and touched its tongue lightly. Zong. The sound flew over the clearing we were camped. I sensed right away that something strange and unexpected was happening, but I couldn't help myself. The dark patch of forest produced a tall, vague figure. It walked toward me, as if fluctuating in resonance with the sound.
I greet you, little woman. Once in a lifetime a shaman can see the future, and recently it was revealed to me that you had come and turned my fate around. Well, I did not know it would be you exactly, but you hold the song of the spirits, the messenger who delivers our prayers to the gods. There can be no mistake, it was you I was waiting for.
The voice felt as if it sounded not in reality, but right inside my head. I was now seeing more clearly. An imposing lizardman stood before me, girded with a tarnished, heavy gold chain. They say that lizard men never stop growing their entire lives. Well, I've never seen a giant like this before. He was incredibly frail, though, the webbing of the outgrowths on his head saggy and his teeth worn down. I realized he was not a warrior of unprecedented power, but simply a profoundly old lizardman.
Talmanac 100 Thoughts is my name. If you don't mind, guest, I will come and see you now and then and tell you stories about myself, my people, and this place. I sense you are hungry for knowledge, and if I knew you will need it if you are to survive here and find what you so desire.
What I desire?
You are lonely, little woman. You may not know it yourself, but your heart doesn't want to be alone. You fear that you may have misjudged those you have come to think of as close ones, and you may well be right. Fear not. You have already found a friend in me, and you shall find new ones, some close by and others in places where... We'll talk about that some other time. Come meet me in my hut. I will tell you what you will find in these lands, and you will help you understand how.
I blinked a few times, speechless, so when I opened my eyes wide again, there was no one there, just the dark forest and the glow of the fire. I looked back. Winona was standing a few feet behind me.
Did you see that? Did you see him? The one I was talking to? Well, I definitely saw something. Mind telling me what it was, or who? And what was that strange music? I swear, that was all I heard the entire time. Not a single word. And you know I trust my ears.
We have an interesting guest, don't we? Let's swap back to the boots of not being sluggish. And defeat the basilisks. And defeat them we shall! Let us now carry on. There are now lizardmen here. They should be defeated. Let's split into 2 stacks. Oh, what an easy battle this was. And now we can take backwater. Oh, there's an actual garrison. Fair enough. Well, it should not be too much of a problem. We have some shooters. We can use our own shooters on those. It's just a matter of dealing with the various flying menagerie. Just want to make sure we stay out of their range. This seems to be a good setup. Let us start combat. And first, I shall wait. And wait as well, and wait as well. Let us shoot these with gun. It worked well. Now we shall shoot these with grenades. It worked well. Oh no, it's Hydra, mechanical Hydra versus regular Hydra, but they've got Chaos Hydras, which are faster than mine. Actually, with the same speed. Well, let's defend. What a journey that was. Alright, well, let's just kill them with the automaton, shall we? We don't want to completely go in, though, because that's going to happen. So, let's retreat. We'll head up here and make sure that we get our engineers to repair. Like so. And then blow them up! Oh yes! The Chaos Hydras have been defeated! And now we shall claim Black Backwater, which is a backwater indeed. It literally has nothing. Just a village hall. We can, however, build a tavern. That is interesting. It is interesting, because it means this isn't just going to be a 2-hero mission. So we might as well build the tavern now. We've got Cuthbert and Toriza, not most exciting of characters to imagine. This man, however, does have estates. So we should probably purchase him just to shove him in the town. There we go. We've already increased our income by a good 50%. Oh yes, that economic play that I'm so known for. We will want to eventually get some fortress units so we don't have to be quite so sluggish here in the swamp. Speaking of fortress units, this Serpentfly Hive will do quite well for that. Let us send Winona down here, and we shall give her a Serpentfly soon. TM. Actually, how about now? We can grab a Serpentfly, and we'll use these to give her to our various scouting heroes. And after all, Winona is a scouting hero. She has a secondary skill bonus of scouting. So yes, very apt, very accurate. Let's end turn. Oh, surprised there wasn't another story moment, but hey. This was a mistake because I didn't put back on the boots of speed. Feel free to take a shot every time I make that mistake, and you will not survive the night. Okay. So we can now take that. Probably just only take one of the Serpentflies, but this just means now Winona's no longer going to be quite so hindered by this particular problem. We can go gather some resources. Obviously, we're going to have someone do fighting, and we may do splitting up as well. We don't have to have Henrietta do everything. But hey, we could do the Swarm of Gnolls and maybe the Sawmill. Swarm of Gnolls didn't make so much of a problem. What about the Gnoll Marauders? Well, how about we just don't run it down. And then we queue enter. Oh, look at that. How about the Sprites? You know what? I don't want to have lose units, so we won't pursue those ones. But there's plenty of resources for Winona to gather next turn. One more turn we go. And we'll grab the Sawmill. And yes, I've already done it, so that's 2 shots. Excellent. That's a nice haul of gold. We might have Winona grab this one for experience. So there's a throng of Oceanids. For now, we'll go up here and see what these people have to say for themselves. We'll defeat the water elementals. With fire! There we go, they're now steam elementals. You enter a rickety hut and talk to the magician who lives here. He tells you places near and far which may aid you in your journeys. Oh look, A place. Another place. And a third place. A fourth place. Fifth place. Many places. Most of them below the surface, intriguingly enough. So we've got Mudshire here, which does have Kasherik. It's basically just K, share K, but you know. We got Kennehoth here. This just seems to be a choke point. Here's Marshank, quest guard. And another quest guard with Mostin. So look, there's certainly some subterranean passageways. We might as well grab the remaining things, and we'll call the video here. Thank you for watching. When we come back next time, more Heroes of Might and Magic 3.